Everyone's heard it. Cold showers make you unstoppable. One icy blast and suddenly superhuman immunity? Gurus swear it, influencers scream it, millions of videos. One bold claim. But does cold water really turn your immune system into an army? Or is this just another wellness myth in disguise? Today we put the cold shower myth to the ultimate test. Myth or reality? Let's dive in. The idea isn't new. Ancient Greek healers already believed in the power of cold water. Physicians like Hippocrates prescribed cold baths for fatigue and fever. The Romans built entire cold pools, the frigidarium, into their bathhouses. Centuries later, Vikings and Nordic tribes bathed in icy lakes as a rite of passage. Cold wasn't punishment, it was proof of strength. In the 1800s, a Bavarian priest named Sebastian Kneipp turned cold water into a medical movement. His hydrotherapy clinics became wildly popular across Europe. Meanwhile, in Finland, hot saunas followed by icy plunges became a national ritual. In Russia, so-called walruses still cut holes in frozen rivers for a daily dip. They call it morjevanje, and they insist it keeps them healthy. For centuries, cold water therapy stayed a niche tradition. Then, in the 2000s, everything changed. A Dutch extreme athlete claimed he could control his body with cold and breathing. He broke world records and built a method that went viral worldwide. Suddenly, everyone wanted to try the ice bath challenge. Bathtubs turned into ice buckets. Showers turned into daily challenges. Searches for cold shower benefits exploded across the internet. Coaches promised it would supercharge your immune system, but somewhere between ancient tradition and viral trend, one big question got lost. Does cold water actually strengthen your immune system? Or is it just folklore with good marketing? Cold exposure activates something called brown fat. Unlike regular fat, brown fat burns energy to generate heat. This process, called thermogenesis, ramps up metabolism. Some researchers believe a faster metabolism could support overall health, and a healthier body, the theory goes, means a stronger defense system. Cold water also triggers a flood of norepinephrine, the body's alarm hormone. Heart rate spikes, blood vessels constrict, and the body goes on high alert. Some scientists think this fight or flight response might put immune cells on standby, as if the cold is sounding an alarm the immune system can't ignore. That surge of adrenaline is one of the biggest reasons people swear cold showers work. In 2014, a famous study put this theory to a real test. Trained volunteers used breathing techniques and cold exposure together. Researchers injected them with a bacterial toxin to trigger an immune response. The trained group showed lower inflammation and milder symptoms than untrained volunteers. It suggested the body could actually learn to control its own immune response. Then, in 2016, a huge study looked at cold showers and everyday life. Over 3,000 people were asked to end their showers with 30, 60, or 90 seconds of cold water. Researchers tracked how many sick days they took off work. The cold shower group missed 29% fewer sick days than those who skipped it. For cold shower believers, this felt like solid proof. There's also the circulation argument. Cold water makes blood vessels constrict, then rebound and dilate as you warm up. Some believe this pumping action helps flush the lymphatic system, and the lymphatic system carries many of the cells that fight infection. Better flow, the theory goes, could mean better immune defense. Then there's the idea of hormesis, stress that makes you stronger. Just like exercise stresses muscles to build strength, cold may stress the body to build resilience. Regular cold exposure may even train the body to handle stress more calmly over time. Less chronic stress could mean an immune system that isn't constantly overworked. At least, that's the hopeful theory behind the hype. Let's not forget the mood boost. Cold showers trigger a rush of endorphins and dopamine, and mounting research links a happier mind to a more balanced immune response. Fans say the mental toughness from facing the cold every morning changes everything. They feel sharper, calmer, and more in control of stress. It's no coincidence elite athletes have used cold water for decades. Cold immersion is a staple for post-game recovery around the world, and online communities are full of personal stories of fewer colds and more energy. For millions of people, the cold shower feels like it works. So on paper, the case for cold showers looks pretty convincing. Let's rewind to that famous 2016 study for a moment. The sick days weren't confirmed by doctors, they were simply self-reported by participants. That means people who chose to keep showering cold might have simply felt tougher and reported sick days differently. The researchers themselves found no difference in actual infection rates between groups. People got just as many colds and flus, cold showers or not. The immune boost headline turned out to be more nuanced than it seemed. Remember that famous immune control study? The volunteers didn't just take cold showers, they used a specific combination combination of breathing exercises, meditation, and cold exposure. Nobody proved that cold water alone caused the effect. Take away the breathing and meditation, and the results might completely disappear. And the study only involved a small group of specially trained volunteers. That's a long way from proving it works for everyone, everywhere. Since then, few large studies have managed to repeat these exact results. In science, a single study is rarely the final word. Real proof needs many independent studies pointing the same direction. Right now, that mountain of evidence just isn't there yet. That doesn't mean cold showers do nothing. It means we can't confidently say they boost immunity. It's a hopeful theory, not a proven fact. Here's another problem. Who actually takes cold showers? Often, it's people who already exercise regularly, eat well, and sleep enough. These people tend to have naturally stronger immune systems anyway. So is it really the cold water or their whole healthy lifestyle that's protecting them? Scientists call this a confounding variable, and it makes cold shower studies incredibly tricky to interpret. Separating cause from coincidence is much harder than it sounds. So what happens when scientists check the immune system directly? Most studies measuring actual immune cells and antibodies find little to no lasting change from cold showers. Levels of key immune markers stay roughly the same before and after. There is a brief spike in some markers right after a cold shower, but it usually fades within hours, not days. A temporary blip isn't the same as a stronger immune system. When researchers combine all the available studies together, the overall picture, called a meta-analysis, tells a more modest story. Most reviews conclude cold showers might slightly reduce sick days, but not because they measurably boost immunity. Immunologists are cautious about the word boost altogether. The immune system doesn't work like a dial you simply turn up. It's a complex, balanced network, and oversimplified claims rarely hold up under real scrutiny. There's also a real safety concern doctors want people to know about. Sudden cold exposure triggers something called cold shock response. Heart rate and blood pressure spike almost instantly. For people with heart conditions, that sudden shock can be genuinely dangerous. Doctors also warn against jumping straight into freezing water without easing in. A gradual approach is safer than an extreme dramatic plunge. For most healthy adults, brief cold showers are safe, just not risk-free for everyone. So where does that leave us? The science shows a connection between cold showers and feeling healthier, but connection isn't the same as proof of cause. A lot of the immunity boost language comes from marketing, not medical consensus. Big claims sell better than careful, nuanced science. The honest answer researchers give is far less exciting. It might help a little, we're just not sure why. Which brings us to the moment you've been waiting for. It's time for the verdict. Is the cold shower immunity myth real? Based on the evidence, the honest answer is mostly myth. Cold showers do not reliably or measurably strengthen your immune system. There's no solid proof they increase antibodies, immune cells, or your resistance to viruses. But it's not pure fiction either. Some studies do show fewer self-reported sick days among regular cold shower takers. And there are real measurable boosts to circulation, mood, and stress resilience. The metabolic and hormonal effects are genuine. They're just not the same as immune superpowers. The myth isn't that cold showers do nothing. The myth is that they're a magic shield against sickness. In reality, they're one small, healthy habit among many, not a substitute for sleep, diet, or exercise. Most immunologists would call it possibly helpful, definitely not proven. So if you enjoy the cold shock, the energy, and the mental challenge, go for it. Just don't expect it to replace your flu shot or a healthy immune-supporting lifestyle. Verdict. Mostly myth with a small grain of truth hidden inside. Not magic, not nonsense, just nuanced. And honestly, that's how most wellness trends actually work. Which brings us to one more surprising twist you probably didn't expect, because the story doesn't quite end here. Here's the twist scientists find far more interesting than plain cold showers. It's not the cold alone, it's the contrast between hot and cold. Alternating hot and cold makes blood vessels expand and contract repeatedly, like a workout for your circulatory system. Finnish studies following thousands of regular sauna goers found real reductions in heart disease and even overall mortality. That's some of the strongest cold and heat evidence in the entire wellness world. And it's stronger evidence than plain cold showers ever managed to produce alone. So the secret might not be cold water by itself. It might be the contrast, the shock, the back and forth challenge to your body. Some researchers now recommend contrast showers instead of pure cold ones. A minute of warm water followed by 30 seconds of cold repeated a few times. It's a small shift, but it might make a real physiological difference. And that's not even the most surprising part of this story. In Japan, an ancient purification ritual called misogi involves standing under freezing waterfalls. It's been practiced for centuries, not for immunity, but for spiritual clarity. On the other side of the world, some indigenous traditions used sweat lodges followed by cold river dips. Completely unrelated cultures, oceans apart, independently discovered the same basic idea. When that many different societies land on the same practice without ever meeting, it's a strong hint that something real is going on, even if science is still catching up to explain exactly what. Fast forward to 2014, and cold water went viral for a completely different reason. The Ice Bucket Challenge wasn't about immunity at all. It raised money for ALS research. It raised over $100 million in just a few weeks. People across the entire planet dumped ice water on themselves for charity, not health claims. It's funny how the same icy sensation can mean completely different things to different people. Sometimes it's tradition, sometimes it's charity, sometimes it's just a trend. So what should you actually do with all of this? If you enjoy cold showers, keep enjoying them for the mood boost, the alertness, and the challenge. If you want stronger evidence, try alternating hot and cold instead of pure ice water. But never let it replace the basics. Sleep, nutrition, movement, and vaccines still do the heavy lifting for your immune system. True immunity isn't built in one icy minute. It's built every single day. And that's the real story behind the cold shower myth. If you enjoyed uncovering the truth with us, hit like and subscribe for more myths busted. See you in the next investigation. Stay curious.